There are some huge games arriving in 2025, and next year is really shaping up to be one of the biggest years in gaming for over a decade. With mammoth releases including the highly anticipated GTA 6, alongside Xbox first-party titles like Avowed and Gears of War E-Day, we are incredibly excited. Today I'll be providing you with a list of 25 huge single-player games coming to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. My name is Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation. Subscribe for more Xbox and Game Pass content every single day, and let's dive right in. Set in a tense world of occupied France during World War II, Sniper Elite Resistance follows a line elite sniper who joins the French resistance to thwart a Nazi plot. The game here features enhanced stealth mechanics, allowing players to crawl through underbrush, take down enemies silently, and use environmental-based distractions to stay undetected. Resistance missions really do vary in this game though, from sabotaging convoys to assassinating high-ranking officials, with every single shot requiring careful consideration for wind direction, bullet drop, and noise cover. Plus, the new Resistance mode in this game now adds a new dynamic layer to Sniper Elite, with changing objectives based on player choices. With gorgeous, war-ravaged landscapes and tense sniper gameplay, Sniper Elite's Resistance promises high-stakes action when it launches on the 30th of January, and it'll be available day one on Xbox Game Pass. Avowed brings us into the Pillars of Eternity universe, with a first-person RPG experience that expands Obsidian storytelling into immersive action. Players here will be able to control a customizable protagonist equipped with a mix of swords, guns, and powerful elemental magic. The world is a tapestry of intricate biomes, from sprawling forests to cryptic ruins, each with their own set of creatures, puzzles, and secrets to uncover. As a mysterious illness has actually spread across the land, players must navigate alliances and make moral decisions that impact the world and narrative outcomes. Known for their character-driven plots and intricate lore, Obsidian seems to be delivering a personal yet grand fantasy epic. Avowed might not rival Skyrim in terms of scale, but it really promises a densely packed experience on par with any classic RPG. In Clair Obscur Expedition 33, players will get to embark on an expedition to find a mysterious painter whose art reportedly erases entire generations from their history. Set in a gorgeously eerie landscape now powered by Unreal Engine 5, the game's visuals and atmosphere really draw heavily on surrealist art, creating a world that feels both dreamlike and disquieting. The combat here is turn-based, but also includes real-time quick-time events for parries and counters, making every single encounter a strategic blend of reflexes and tactics. This narrative-rich RPG, rumoured to feature Robert Pattinson in a key role, combines exploration with psychological horror and puzzle solving, and it really builds tension as players uncover the painter's dark secrets. It's a haunting journey, unlike any other RPG we've seen, and it's also coming day one onto Xbox Game Pass. WUCHANG Fallen Feathers finally invites players into a mythical version of ancient China, where a strange illness has actually mutated humanity into terrifying bird-like monsters. The protagonist, a warrior with a forgotten past, must venture through plagued villages, haunted forests, and corrupted temples to find the root of this curse. The game's combat system actually focuses on a mix of melee, magic, and ranged attacks, allowing players to adapt on the fly against various enemies with unique abilities. Every single boss encounter serves as a test of endurance, reflexes, and combat strategy, challenging players to master a blend of evasion and powerful counterattacks. It is very much a Souls-like through and through, so if you like games like Elden Ring, then definitely give this one a go. WUCHANG offers a dark and immersive experience steeped in Eastern folklore, and is a welcome addition to the dark fantasy genre on Xbox Game Pass. In the first Berserker Khazan, players will step into a brutal, unforgiving world of Khazan, a feared warrior general driven by vengeance. It's set in a sprawling grim universe inspired by Norse and Celtic mythology, and this Souls-like RPG emphasizes weighty, methodical combat where every strike can mean life or death. The player's journey here takes them through harsh landscapes and treacherous mountains, with ominous forests and ancient ruins full of hostile creatures and dangerous traps. Khazan's abilities will obviously evolve over time through mystical relics that were scattered throughout the world, allowing players to develop unique fighting styles as they battle formidable bosses and navigate this game's rich lore. Khazan really promises some deep and rewarding gameplay for fans of challenging action RPGs. A big surprise from the Xbox Partner Preview program, which I have had my eyes on, is Eternal Strands. It looks to be breaking the boundaries with its sandbox-style combat and environmental manipulation mechanics. In a post-apocalyptic world that's actually shaped by ancient magic and technology, players will be able to harness elemental forces like fire, ice, and earth to change the landscape and interact with surroundings in unexpected ways. Picture this, you can drop off a cliff on your enemies or create a moat of fire around yourself for protection. Every single environment is interactive in this game, allowing players to strategize and find creative solutions to every single challenge. As a Game Pass title, Eternal Strands is set to deliver a fresh take on action gameplay, focusing on player ingenuity and adaptability. Replaced is an artistic marvel set in a gritty, neon-lit landscape of Phoenix City. Playing as an AI trapped in a human body, the story explores themes of identity, survival, and rebellion against a dystopian regime. The combat here is a mix of fluid hand-to-hand combat and ranged attacks, allowing us to utilize their AI-enhanced reflexes for precise takedowns and high-speed evasion. The game's cyberpunk aesthetic is really brought to life though through stunning pixel art, while every single environment feels alive with neon signs, bustling street vendors, and shadowy corners hiding unsavory characters. This action platformer has been delayed a few times, but is set to be one of 2025's most visually and thematically compelling releases. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one, and it also comes day one onto Xbox Game Pass. This time, Doom the Dark Ages transports the Slayer to the medieval battlefield, still keeping the manic and over-the-top guns, but now introduces more intense melee combat interspersed with crossbows and catapults. Set during the Slayer's first encounters with Hell's forces, players will be able to face a mix of armored demons and supernatural entities. Beside the classic Doom-style relentless combat that we know and love, players will be able to have access to dragon riding segments and even a mech mode, where you will be going head-to-head against towering demonic behemoths. The setting really adds a cool gothic twist to the Doom universe, with brooding castles and misty forests, also while maintaining the fast-paced gore-filled action that Doom fans really love. You'd think by this time there would at least be some rest for the wicked. Alas, it's not to be, as Gearbox Software has officially unveiled Borderlands 4, and gamers like ourselves are eager to see what misadventures they'll be able to have this time around. Information on this next title is pretty tight at the moment, but we know the game will have a new villain, one that apparently puts the past one to shame, which is definitely saying something if you think about it. Oh, and you also know there'll be plenty of guns to play with, and a co-op experience so you can shoot up endless enemies with friends and so on. I know it's going to be a great release for 2025, so stay tuned for more info as it drops. Compulsion Games' third-person action-adventure game South of Midnight immediately caught our eye with its mix of richly atmospheric setting, its dark folktale elements, and its magical realism inspirations. In South of Midnight, our character Hazel has to become a weaver, and this is someone who can actually use weaving magic to magically repair and restore dangerous creatures and broken bonds. From what we know so far, Hazel will confront and subdue dangerous creatures, untangle the webs of her own family's shared past, and, if she's lucky, find a place that feels like home. Along with the game's dark folktale atmosphere, another aspect which immediately stands out is its distinctive, slightly juddering stop-motion art style. I cannot wait for this unique first-party title, and it's slated for a day one release onto Xbox Game Pass sometime in 2025. Atomfall is set in the rolling British countryside with idyllic pubs, quaint villages, and red phone boxes, but it soon becomes clear that things are far from normal. Created by Rebellion, the makers of the much-loved Sniper Elite and Zombie Army franchises, Atomfall is inspired by a real-world nuclear disaster that occurred in northern England in 1957. This game actually follows a fictional storyline where you'll find yourself in the quarantine zone 5 years after this event. This is a single-player survival action game, and it really blends that sort of post-war Britain with Cold War paranoia, folk horror, and elements of a classic British sci-fi, and it looks to create an immersive and thrilling gameplay experience that we've never experienced before. It arrives on Game Pass as a day one release sometime in March of 2025. Mafia The Old Country finally brings players to the early 1900s Sicily, exploring the inception of the Sicilian mob. Players will be able to take on the role of a young mobster rising through the ranks, managing both family loyalty and treacherous underworld politics. The game's open world setting looks to be authentic, with cobblestone streets, bustling marketplaces, and rugged countrysides relating to the beauty and danger of the turn of the century Italy. It looks to combine high stakes missions and moments of family life, offering players a full immersion into the world of the Mafia. We should be getting more of a look at the game very soon, and I cannot wait to see more of the Mafia world, especially after the fantastic Mafia 1 remake. With Little Nightmares 3, players will be able to control this time around two new protagonists called Low and Alone, as they navigate a twisted, eerie world plagued by their worst fears. The 2.5D platformer now offers a fresh take to puzzles that require both collaboration, but it's not just the puzzles. Obviously, there'll be horrifying creatures lurking around every single corner. The new online court feature actually allows players to share the terror this time as they escape from the nightmarish villains once again. Supermassive Games really focuses on atmosphere and tension and ensures that Little Nightmares 3 will be as chilling as ever before. Now, let's talk about Spine. If you've ever wanted to feel like you're in a John Wick movie, then this next game is for you. Spine actually takes close quarters gun combat to the very next level, combining the fluidity of games like Uncharted with the intensity of a third-person shooter. The game's combat system is all about emerging gunplay with melee combat in a seamless way. You'll of course be dodging bullets, disarming enemies, and pulling off incredible stunts, all whilst engaging in fast-paced firefights. The developers have cited movies like The Matrix as inspiration, and it shows in this game's stylish kinetic action sequences. There's no fixed release date for this one as of yet, but the gameplay footage we've seen so far looks incredibly promising. This could easily become one of the standout single-player action games of 2025. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 finally returns to 15th century Bohemia, where players once again will step into the boots of Henry. This historically accurate RPG recreates medieval life with meticulous detail, from managing daily needs like food and sleep to learning skills like swordplay and archery. The story-driven game is just full of moral choices, political intrigue and conflict, as Henry will navigate complex relationships and battles that shape Bohemia's fate. True to its predecessor though, Deliverance 2 will emphasize that realism and its sprawling landscapes, and it also will have an incredibly choice-driven narrative, making it a dream come true for fans of historical RPGs. Judas marks the long-awaited return of Ken Levine, the creator behind the iconic BioShock series, and now with a new sci-fi experience set on the Mayflower, a massive colony ship torn apart by internal conflict. Humanity's last survivors are actually trapped in a struggle among three competing factions, each with distinct ideologies about mankind's future. In this narrative-driven game, players must form alliances with these factions, making choices that influence the storyline, player relationships, and ultimately the ending. Levine describes this dynamic as narrative Legos, meaning every single choice alters the fabric of the story, making for some highly replayable and personalized experiences. As with BioShock, fans can expect complex moral choices, detailed world building, and immersive storytelling that can redefine interactive narrative design. Now, Gears of War E-Day will finally take us fans back to the beginnings of the brutal war with the Locust, where players will meet younger versions of Marcus Phoenix and Dominic Santiago. Set 14 years before the first Gears of War game, the story will explore the chaotic onset of the Locust invasion and the camaraderie between both Marcus and Dom as they face impossible odds. It's now embracing a more darker, horror-laden atmosphere of the original trilogy, and E-Day promises intense firefights, gritty settings, and high stakes for survival that really defined early Gears titles. Fans of the franchise's root will feel at home with this new game, with the linear gameplay and the visceral action scenes that make Gears of War a benchmark in third-person shooters. The Coalition has also hinted that the game will provide more of an insight into Marcus and Dom's growth from inexperienced soldiers into hardened warriors. It is also coming day one onto Xbox Game Pass, so I cannot wait to see more on this title in early 2025. The Fable series, once the crown jewel of Lionhead Studios, finds new life under the creative direction of Playground Games, known for their work on the Forza Horizon series. This beloved RPG actually returns players to Albion, where the charming humor, karma system, and fantasy-driven exploration promise to be revitalized for a new generation. Though details have been fairly scarce, early footage still hints at a familiar balance of whimsy and adventure, with lush landscapes and dynamic NPC interactions. Fans are really hopeful though that core elements like the character customization and morality-based choices remain, letting players forge unique paths through their own Albion tales. This installment has the potential to both celebrate the original's trilogy's magic and open up new possibilities with modern gameplay mechanics and stunning visuals. Building on the global success of Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Wilds brings us even more ambitious landscapes and mechanics to the series. Players will finally venture into the sprawling open world biomes teemed with life, from powerful beasts to reactive ecosystems where dynamic weather and herds of animals change the way you hunt. The game now actually introduces new weapon types and customizable combos, offering fresh approaches to tracking, battling, and capturing monsters. With the addition of mounts this time around, players can travel and explore faster, whilst a new focus mode also allows for targeted attacks on specific weak points. The social hunting element also remains, but Wilds also emphasizes solo play, highlighting the satisfaction of mastering monster behavior and thriving as a lone hunter. It comes to Xbox sometime in early 2025. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra offers a fresh perspective on the superhero genre by actually setting the action in World War II, where both Captain America and Black Panther will unite against the infamous Hydra organization. It's set in a time before modern technology, and the game gives a more grittier, more intense vibe with limited resources and historical accuracy woven into the gameplay. Since the success of Spider-Man, fans have always wanted a more solo narrative-focused experience, and this game seeks to deliver that with rich storytelling and character-driven missions. After the mixed reception of Marvel's Avengers, the shift to a single-player model gives hope for a deeper, more focused game, tapping into the emotional and heroic aspects of its iconic characters. Crimson Desert combines the best elements of open-world action RPGs, but includes it with medieval aesthetics, drawing the inspirations from the likes of The Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed, and God of War. Originally envisioned as a prequel to Black Desert Online, this game has actually pivoted to become a more standalone experience, blending massive biomes, realistic weather systems, and diverse modes of exploration. Of course, from what we've seen so far, combat is very visceral, with players engaging in everything from horseback skirmishes to intense boss battles. Players can even pull off unique actions such as drifting on horseback, and the seamless blend of parkour, stealth, and intense melee combat really adds layers of depth to the open world gameplay. Crimson Desert seems to be a really ambitious attempt to bring everything that fans love about action open world RPGs into a single cohesive adventure. I cannot wait for it to launch sometime in 2025, and I know this is one game on top of my own personal radar. I think it's safe to say that at this point, fans have eagerly been awaiting Grand Theft Auto 6, and Rockstar finally teased us with a return to Vice City, promising a sprawling sandbox enriched with new biomes, urban hubs, and rural landscapes. This time around, players will actually follow two protagonists, Lucia and her male counterpart, as they both navigate a world that takes cues from a social media culture, with viral fame affecting gameplay in very unique ways. While Rockstar has still kept details pretty under wraps at this point, there is speculation about new mechanics to blend real-time crime and social media, kind of expanding on the satire that GTA is really known for. Despite the potential for delays, GTA 6 really promises to be a groundbreaking release, with heightened freedom for players to explore, customize, and interact with. I know many of you cannot wait for this release, and we don't have to wait long, as it's due to release sometime at the end of 2025, and no doubt this will be the biggest release in entertainment history. Now, I did actually want to cover a couple of bonus games that will also be arriving onto Xbox, but have yet to be fully confirmed for 2025. First up, we have an eagerly anticipated release in Black Myth Wukong. This is an action RPG inspired by the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West. This game is all about the fast, fluid combat with a focus on dodging and timing rather than blocking. The game's visuals are absolutely stunning, with beautifully detailed environments and character designs that really bring the world of Chinese mythology to life. It has been released on rival consoles and PC since August, and has been a significant hit, so I know many Xbox gamers like myself cannot wait for this to finally release. Then let's switch gears to something a bit different with Kingmakers. This game combines massive medieval battles with a modern twist, quite literally. Imagine leading a child of knights into battle only to pull out a pistol or call in an airstrike. The game's premise actually revolves around time travel, blending the brutality of medieval warfare with the firepower of modern military technology. The sheer scale of the battles is really impressive here, with hundreds of soldiers clashing on screens at one time. You'll of course be commanding troops, engaging in hand-to-hand combat, and unleashing devastating modern weapons on your enemies. The concept is pretty wild, but the execution looks solid, with some truly epic moments teased in the trailers. If Kingmakers can deliver on its promises, it could be one of the most innovative action games we've seen in recent years. So, what single player game are you looking forward to next year? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more Xbox and Game Pass content every single day. Also, feel free down below to have a look at our brand new Discord server. I launched it recently, and I love interacting with you all in the community about what you're currently playing on Xbox and what you're looking forward to in the near future. Also, whilst here, why don't you check out our most recent video covering 15 incredible hidden gems on Xbox Game Pass that you must play in 2024.